Hello YouTube, you're watching Drone Dude, and today I'm going to be bringing you a video discussing what it's been like to own the DJI Inspire 1 for around 8 months now. So the DJI Inspire 1 was announced back in 2014, late 2014. Seemed like a very nice aerial filming platform, and indeed it is. Now, I received mine right when it came out, or right when they started shipping them in January of 2015, and here it is. So, more has changed about the DJI Inspire 1 than you might think. Now, when this first came out in January, or was shipped in January, it did not have these props. It had a completely different firmware, and even the later models that they shipped out had a different carbon fiber and arm mechanism design incorporated. And so this is the first model, or the A model as DJI calls it, and then there's, I believe, been a B, C, and D model after this first model. And this one has served me quite well, so we're going to go ahead and get into what kind of wear I've experienced on it, and what kind of performance I'm getting out of it now, 8 months later. So, how has the Inspire 1 aged? Well, it's aged quite well. I haven't had really a single major issue with the Inspire at all. No risky situations, no flyaways, not even trouble updating the firmware. I've followed DJI's updating procedure on their YouTube, and that has worked for me every single time. I also have the dual remote version of this model, and I have not had any issues connecting the second remote controller ever to this model. Now, there are a few things that you will want to look out for after you've owned and flown your Inspire for quite a while. Now, back many months ago, DJI released these quick release props. So you simply push down, you twist, and the prop pops right off. Now, these quick release mounts do wear. Now, the reason they actually produce these quick release mounts is because originally they had the twist-on props for the Inspire, and these would go on top and you would simply twist them on. They were supposed to be self-tightening. However, apparently DJI had issues with the self-tightening props, and apparently some of them came off. Now, I have never had an issue with this. I manually tightened my props down very hard, and then they came out with a temporary fix for these props, and these were the prop locks, which also worked very well. Now, one thing to mention, there is a difference between these props and the new props. The newer props with the quick release platform are actually thicker and have more surface area on them, so from my experiences they actually perform better. Now, whether they are more reliable over a long term is a good question, because I've heard of several instances where the quick release props do wear. Now, there are 4 notches in each quick release prop, and then there's 4 notches on the mechanism to pop the quick release on. And from what I've heard is these notches can be worn if you don't put the props on properly, and then also over time, just the spinning of the props can wear them. So when you do install the props, make sure you kind of place them on lightly, make sure it clicks in, push down, make sure there's no friction against the edges on the quick release props, and then just twist the motor until you hear a lock or feel a lock, and they should be pretty tight. And now obviously you can do this deal and see if they are indeed loose at all. Now what I have noticed is my back right prop is actually a little tiny bit loose, and this wasn't like this when I got it, so that does indicate wear. Now what I'm going to do is probably just order another set and then replace them, because that is a good idea if you don't want to lose a prop eventually. So in terms of the part that I would think would fail more than anything else that I haven't heard of failing at all is the gear mechanism. Now the way the gear mechanism works is it takes these arm shafts and it moves them upward so the gears raise up. Now this requires a big servo and piston basically in the middle of the Inspire to activate this mechanism. And obviously that does require quite a bit of force and extra effort. However, this has not had a single issue. I have noticed, and I've seen this more majorly in some of the other Inspires, that the sides don't quite go up at the exact same time. So you'll see one arm maybe 3 millimeters above the other one when they're raising up, and that is a sign of age, but it is not such an issue unless you have them really moving up at quite a different angle until they reach the top. So that is something to watch out for over time. I'm not entirely sure how to adjust it, but I'm sure there is a way you can do that. So with regards to what I have done for this Inspire, not much. I did fly this thing in a bit of dust one time, and I did take an airbrush and brush it out, make sure all the dust was off of all the components, especially the motors. And then also I did for some reason lose the original SD card for the gimbal of the Inspire, so I just got a SanDisk Ultra, actually Extreme Plus, for that, and that seems to be working perfectly, no issue there. So keep track of your SD card. So batteries. Batteries are obviously very important. This is the TB47 battery. I believe this is the original one that came with it. And then we also did purchase an extra battery, an extra TB47, and then later we got a TB48 battery, and they are all performing very well. Now one thing I did notice actually with this specific battery, one time I got down to about 25% with the battery life, and then it just dropped to about 8%. And that scared me quite a bit, and I wasn't sure what that was about. However, in the most recent update for the Inspire 1, they changed their battery algorithms, supposedly, that's what it said in the update anyway. And so I've never had an issue with this whatsoever since then. So I'm not sure what that was about, but the battery life in the application itself actually tells me that the batteries have about 90% of their usable life left. So not too bad, especially for the amount of time that I've had the batteries. And LiPos are not known to be very reliable, and as I fly multiple RC vehicles and things, they do fail quite frequently. These batteries are performing very well. So moving away from the Inspire and moving to what controls the Inspire, the remote controller, or both of the remote controllers. These have been working very well. I did update the Inspire at one point and have to recalibrate the remote controller. No big deal, easy to do. You go up and hit recalibrate with the Inspire off and you just calibrate the sticks, and that's easy enough to do. No wear at all on the remote, very, very good. And the only thing that I have wear on, and I've had wear on repeatedly even with the Phantom, is the cable for your iPad. What can happen is the end can be bent depending on how you store the cable. If you wrap it around the back metal bar right here, it will eventually tear your cable. So you want to be careful with that. Also, if you are traveling or if you are hiking or something, you obviously are going to be using your mobile device. In this case, I'm using the iPad Air 2. By the way, just going to mention, fantastic tablet for the Inspire. I've had no video lag issues at all. The range has been superb. Using my Samsung Note 4, I've had a little bit of issues. However, using the iPad, it's worked very, very well. Now, I do recommend if you are traveling with the iPad, having a iPad case or holder or just something for the iPad that's easy to slip the iPad into to protect it. And this is actually not for an iPad Air 2, this is for an older generation iPad, but it works well and it keeps my iPad protected. I've heard of people accidentally dropping the remotes or something like that and destroying their iPad. So that is a good idea to have something like this with you if you do happen to use the iPad for your Inspire. So getting on to accessories. Obviously, I have all of the old props, so if I do need to change a prop, I'll have to change all of them, but that's no big deal. I have them ready to go if I do need to. Now, I did actually test the Inspire in high altitude performance. I actually took it, when I took it to Wyoming, we were at altitudes close to 8 and even 9,000 feet at times with the Inspire on top of mountains. And it definitely struggles, no doubt. You can hear the motors are spinning a little bit heavier. You can hear more sound, and the Inspire actually has trouble keeping a vertical axis steady. So you'll see it kind of going up and down, and it's a little disconcerting, but it didn't really have any issues. It was just because of the lack of altitude, or excuse me, the presence of altitude on the Inspire. So there is one topic that we're going to get into that is not the Inspire, and it is what the Inspire comes in, and that is the Inspire 1 carrying case. Now this case is not a good case. Okay, I say that it's not a good case. It's a great case for moderate storage. If you're just storing it somewhere, no problem at all. But for travel on an airliner, it's pretty much a one-use kind of deal. It does not last very well, so even the handle on the top is pretty flimsy. That could easily come off, and with everything loaded in the case, it's a bit heavy, and of course if you are taking it in the checked baggage, you're going to be facing this thing being thrown around a little bit. So anyway, we'll go ahead and open this up and take a look at what has been done to it. I just zipped it up. 1 second. Alright, here we are, the case is open. Now this looks okay from your perspective anyway. Still everything's intact, sort of. So these straps over here are the I guess prop holder straps, and these things are like some cheap tape or glue type stuff to use to put them on, and you can just rip them right out. I'm not going to do it right now, but they came out when I put this thing in the storage. Now everything on the case, like this foam, there's dents in it and there's small little blips. So it held together not too bad. There is definitely some damage in the case, and so I would not recommend this for repeated air travel. Now if you are going to one location one time, this case will probably do you good. It'll keep your Inspire nice and protected. Now if you can fit this case, or if you can take the Inspire on your carry-on, then I would recommend that, because you're going to be a lot more secure that your Inspire is okay, rather than having people throw your Inspire around and pop it in the back of the airliner. They do sell other cases that are good. I don't have the name of one off the top of my head, but I would recommend that if you're doing a lot of air travel with your Inspire. So guys, after going through all of that, I'm going to leave you with just saying that this is an amazing quadcopter. I have experienced no issues, major issues with this quadcopter. I've gotten some incredible film from multiple places, and it's always performed perfectly. I do frequently do compass calibration. That's recommended anyway. But anyway guys, this is the DJI Inspire 1. Fantastic quadcopter. And if you're looking for professional aerial video, this is definitely a high up option. Will the Inspire 2 hopefully be released before Christmas, or before, or announced anyway before the holidays? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you, and also maybe gives you a better idea if you're planning on buying an Inspire of the longevity of it. and I'll probably do an update after a year of ownership, maybe. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.